Welcome, my amazing friend. Today, we begin a journey through time, through color, through a man whose name became bigger than art itself. This is not just a story about painting. It is a story of courage, rebellion, heartbreak, and vision. It is the story of Pablo Picasso, the man who painted pain and called it truth, who shattered beauty and redefined the world. This story is your classroom today. So listen with your heart, because this is how you learn English through a soul that never followed rules. Pablo Picasso was born in Malaga, Spain in 1881. Even as a baby, something was different about him. His mother would later say, "My son was born to be great." His first word was not mama or papa, it was pencil. From the very beginning, Pablo was meant to create. His father, Don José Ruiz, was an art teacher. He painted birds and animals and taught in a local school. When young Pablo watched him work, he didn't just copy what he saw. He felt it. By the age of 9, Picasso painted his first true work, a man on a horse in a bullfight. It was called Le Picador, and it was full of fire. At 13, something incredible happened. After watching Pablo sketch a pigeon in perfect detail, his father put down his own paintbrush and never picked it up again. He believed that his son had already become a better artist than he could ever be. And he was right. But Pablo was not a normal student. He didn't like rules. He didn't care about traditional lessons. When he entered the Royal Academy in Madrid, he was bored. The teachers focused on technique, on copying old masters. But Picasso wanted more than that. He wanted to feel art, not just draw it. So he skipped class. He wandered the streets. He watched the poor, the blind, the broken. These were the people who filled his sketchbooks. These were the people who lived in his heart. After returning to Barcelona, he found a group of wild thinkers. They met at a cafe called Els Quatre Gats, the Four Cats. They were poets, rebels, musicians, and painters. They didn't want to follow tradition. They wanted to break it. Picasso found his tribe. He began to experiment, not just with color, but with emotion. And then, everything changed. In 1901, his best friend, Carlos Casagemas, shot himself in a Paris cafe. Pablo was heartbroken. He fell into a deep sadness. His paintings turned blue, cold, quiet, full of sorrow. This became his blue period. He painted beggars, blind men, old women holding dead children. Every canvas was a mirror of grief. These works were not popular. They didn't sell, but they were honest. They were real. And they told the world that Picasso was not here to entertain. He was here to speak. Slowly, the sadness faded. Joy began to return, and with it, a new color, pink. The rose period came next. He painted circus performers, acrobats, clowns. There was movement, softness, and a hint of laughter. The world began to notice. Collectors bought his work. And with this new success, Picasso left Spain behind and moved to Paris. Paris, the city of light, was also the city of art. And here, something wild happened. Picasso met Georges Braque, another painter who hated tradition. Together they created something new, something strange, something revolutionary. They called it Cubism, a way of seeing the world not as it is, but from every angle at once. No smooth faces, no soft shapes, just broken lines, sharp forms, and truth, raw and powerful. Critics hated it. Many laughed, some were afraid, but a few understood. Then came 1907, the year that shook the world of art. Picasso painted Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. 5 women, naked, twisted, their faces like African masks, their eyes staring through you. It was not beautiful. It was shocking. Even Picasso's closest friends were disturbed. But the painting was honest, brutal, bold. It said, "I will not follow your rules. I will make my own." Picasso's fame grew. His style changed constantly. He painted guitars with newspaper. He made sculptures out of trash. He drew like a child, then painted like a god. He said, "When I was a child, I painted like Raphael. But it took me a lifetime to learn to paint like a child." He was never still, never finished, always searching. But Picasso was not just an artist. He was a man watching the world fall apart. In 1937, the Spanish Civil War tore his homeland. The Nazi-backed forces bombed the town of Guernica. Hundreds of innocent people died. Children, mothers, animals. Picasso was enraged. And so, in just a few weeks, he created his most powerful painting, Guernica. The painting was black and white, like a photograph from a nightmare. A horse screamed. A woman held her dead child. A soldier lay in pieces. It was pain on canvas. It became a symbol of anti-war truth. Years later, when a Nazi officer saw it and asked Picasso, "Did you do this?" he replied, "No, you did." Picasso never returned to Spain. He could not live under dictatorship. He stayed in Paris during the Nazi occupation. And though he had little food, though he was watched, he kept creating. He once said, "If I don't paint for a day, I feel as if I've committed a crime." His art became a weapon. His colors became resistance. In his later years, Picasso changed again. He painted wildly, joyfully. He made ceramics, pots, sculptures, even toys. He drew doves, symbols of peace. He laughed, he loved, he grew old, but never stopped. He once said, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." But not everyone loved Picasso the man. He was complicated. He had many lovers. Some say he used women. Others say he worshipped them. His relationships were full of fire, beautiful but painful. He could be kind and cruel, generous and selfish. Yet his art never lied, even when he did. Picasso died in 1973 at the age of 91. His final words were, "Drink to me, drink to my health. You know I can't drink anymore." And with that, the world lost one of its wildest flames. But his spirit lives on. In museums, in books, in street art, in every child who picks up a crayon and draws without fear. Picasso gave artists permission to be free. He said, "Art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life." And he was right. What does his story teach you, my friend? That greatness is not about being accepted. It is about being real. That the world may not always understand you. But that doesn't mean you are wrong. That beauty is not perfect. That art is not safe. That truth, your truth, is worth everything. Learning English is also a kind of art. You will make mistakes. You will be misunderstood. But you must keep speaking, keep creating. Because like Picasso, you are not here to copy others. You are here to become you. So, paint your words with courage. Color your sentences with feeling. Speak not just from your mind, but from your soul. Because your story is the masterpiece, and the world is your canvas.